Another Daily Mail TV exclusive, too posh to push. Meghan Markle made her first husband agree to a pregnancy contract to make sure that she was afforded every possible luxury if she gave birth to their child. Charlie Langston has the exclusive details now from our New York newsroom. Charlie, what did this so-called pregnancy contract?
Trevor Engelson's name resurfaces in the tabloid press every few years, usually accompanied by a headline promising an explosive tell-all that never quite materializes. He is Meghan Markle's first husband, a Hollywood producer who has spent more than a decade being asked by proxy to comment on a marriage that ended long before the world knew who Meghan Markle would become. This piece lays out what is actually documented about their relationship, what has only ever been reported as rumor by anonymous insiders, and what is happening right now in 2026 in the broader Sussex story, with each claim clearly labeled according to how solid the sourcing actually is. Engelson was born in 1976 in Great Neck, New York, and studied journalism at the University of Southern California before moving into film and television production. He founded his own production company, Underground, in 2001 and built a career producing titles, including the 2010 film Remember Me and the FX series Snowfall. He also works as a literary manager, representing writers and other industry talent. None of this career history is disputed. It is a matter of public record and industry credit listings. Engelson and Markle began dating in 2004, reportedly after meeting at a bar in West Hollywood. They dated for roughly 6 or 7 years before getting engaged in 2010 and marrying in a destination wedding at the Jamaica in an Ocho Rios in September 2011. At the time, Markle was building her acting career, most notably landing her role on the legal drama Suits, which required her to spend long stretches filming in Toronto, while Engelson remained based in Los Angeles. The marriage lasted just under 2 years before the couple separated in the summer of 2013, with the divorce formally finalized the following year. Multiple accounts describe the split as amicable in name, but genuinely painful for Engelson, who was reportedly not expecting it. Royal biographer Andrew Morton's 2018 book, Meghan, A Hollywood Princess, is the primary published source for the claim that Markle ended the marriage abruptly and that friends described Engelson as blindsided by the decision. Morton's book is also the origin of a detail that has circulated ever since, that Markle mailed her wedding and engagement rings back to Engelson rather than returning them in person. It's worth noting that this detail comes from an unauthorized biography relying on unnamed friends of the couple, not from either Engelson or Markle directly. Neither has confirmed or denied it on the record. Markle's former best friend and one-time maid of honor, Nanaki Pretty, gave interviews years later suggesting the geographic distance between Toronto and Los Angeles put real strain on the marriage, and that she was surprised by how the relationship ultimately ended. Engelson himself has never given a detailed public account of the split. That silence is real, and it is unusual by tabloid standards. But it is also worth remembering that plenty of divorced people, famous or not, simply choose not to discuss their exes publicly. Silence is not evidence of a hidden bombshell. It's also just what discretion looks like. Following the split, Engelson dated television personality Bethany Frankel for a period. Frankel has said the relationship eventually became more of a professional connection than a romantic one. In 2018, Engelson got engaged to Tracy Corland, a nutritionist and heiress to a fortune tied to her late father's mortgage industry business. They married in Montecito in May 2019 and have since had 2 daughters together, born in 2020 and 2021. Engelson has continued working steadily as a producer and remains based in the Los Angeles area. Nothing in his public life since the divorce suggests financial need or an obvious motive to manufacture controversy about his ex-wife. This is the part of the story where the sourcing gets noticeably thinner. Starting around 2022 and recurring through 2023, British tabloids and self-described royal experts, most prominently a commentator named Neil Sean, speaking to outlets like New Magazine, reported that Engelson had supposedly been offered lucrative deals to write a memoir touching on his marriage to Markle. These reports typically cite unnamed agents, unnamed friends, or insiders, and describe Markle as privately worried about what such a book might contain. Separately, royal biographer Tom Bower said in 2022 that he had spoken with people in Engelson's orbit while researching an unauthorized book about Markle. What's missing from all of this, as of this writing, is confirmation of an actual signed deal, a publisher, a manuscript, or a release date. No memoir under Engelson's name has been published or formally announced by a publishing house. The claims exist entirely in the realm of tabloid sources, say reporting, repeated across multiple similar articles over several years without ever converging on a concrete book. That doesn't mean nothing is happening behind the scenes. Publishing negotiations can be genuinely private, but it doesn't mean any script or article describing a memoir as imminent, arrived, or containing specific revelations about paternity, medical history, or how Markle and Prince Harry met is going well beyond anything that has been reported by credible sources. Claims like that belong to a different category than away from the Engelson rumors. Markle's business ventures have generated real, well-documented controversy of their own. In spring 2024, she began sending jars of jam-branded American Riviera Orchard to friends and influencers as a soft launch teaser. That name ran into trademark trouble and was eventually scrapped. In February 2025, Markle rebranded the venture as Ever, unveiling a new logo featuring a palm tree flanked by 2 hummingbirds. The rebrand immediately drew 2 separate controversies. A small New York vintage clothing business, also called as Ever, said it had no connection to Markle's venture and objected to the name overlap. Separately and more prominently, officials in Pereres, a small town in Mallorca, Spain, pointed out that the new logo closely resembled their municipal coat of arms, which dates to 1370 and also features a palm tree flanked by 2 birds. Pereres Mayor Francisca Zisca Mora publicly said the resemblance was extremely close, though she acknowledged the town lacked the resources to pursue legal action and instead asked that the logo be changed. This entire episode is well documented across multiple outlets, unlike the memoir claims, and represents a genuine business misstep rather than tabloid speculation. The rift between Prince Harry and the rest of the royal family is not speculation. It has been openly acknowledged by all parties since Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020. What can be stated with confidence? Based on recent reporting, King Charles and Queen Camilla undertook an official state visit to the United States from April 27th to 30th, 2026, at President Trump's invitation, marking the 250th anniversary of American independence. Multiple outlets, citing palace and family sources, reported that the visit schedule was entirely devoted to official state business, including an address related to Congress and a White House state banquet, and did not include any stop to see Harry, Meghan, or their children in California. Sources close to the family indicated Harry did not request a meeting, understanding the constraints of a formal state visit, and that the two had last seen each other in September 2025 during a visit Harry made to the UK. This is a real and reported estrangement, but it's meaningfully different from a scene of Harry in total shock over a family betrayal. The lack of a meeting during a tightly scheduled diplomatic visit is consistent with a family relationship that remains distant and complicated, not evidence of a specific new revelation appending Harry's understanding of his marriage. Harry has continued to appear publicly during this period, including a keynote appearance at a privacy and technology conference in Washington, D.C. in March 2026, suggesting a continuing, functioning public life rather than a man in crisis. Stories built around anonymous insiders describing a public figure's private emotional state, that they are in shock, embarrassed, sitting with a devastating truth, are a well-worn tabloid format precisely because they can't be fact-checked and rarely are. Genuine reporting on public figures' emotional states usually comes from on-the-record quotes, verified documents, or named sources who were actually present. Descriptions of what Harry is reportedly feeling behind closed doors, without any named source or verifiable basis, are speculation dressed up as insider knowledge. The same caution applies to the most serious claims in circulation online, allegations about the biological parentage of Archie and Lilibet, or claims that Engelson possesses medical records relevant to that question. There is no credible reporting from any legitimate outlet supporting these claims. They appear to originate from and circulate within conspiracy-oriented corners of the internet rather than journalism, and repeating them, even as allegedly or sources suggest, does real harm to real people, including children, based on nothing. Trevor Engelson and Meghan Markle were married for roughly 2 years, from 2011 to 2013, following several years of dating. The marriage ended amid distance and diverging careers, and one biography claims Markle ended things by mail, though this has never been confirmed by either party. Engelson has since remarried, had 2 children, and continued his production career, and has not published a memoir despite years of rumors that a deal was in the works. Separately, Markle's lifestyle brand, as ever, has faced real, well-documented controversies over its name and logo. And the Sussex family's estrangement from the wider royal family is real, ongoing, and openly discussed by people close to them. But nothing in verified reporting supports claims of an imminent bombshell memoir, a secret pregnancy scheme, or a specific moment of private devastation for Prince Harry tied to Engelson. This piece draws on named royal biographers' published books, on-the-record interviews with people who knew the couple, and mainstream news reporting, People, Fox News, NBC, Deseret News, Fast Company, Euronews, and others, on the as ever brand controversy and the 2026 state visit, where a claim rests only on unnamed tabloid sources or insiders that has been flagged explicitly because that distinction between what's documented and what's merely repeated is the whole difference between reporting and rumor.